all new. AM 1150 WTMP.com.
All righty, all righty, all righty. All right, folks, it's that time again, and as usual, we got a great show for you today on Porch Talk Radio, and I gotta kind of take on this week, kind of where we left off last week, because I got a bunch of texts, a couple of calls. Folks really liked the show last week, so we must have did something right. And they said, Eddie, keep on teaching.
There you go.
So they're getting it, they're understanding, and I gotta say, first of all, today, and this is something I didn't say, wasn't part of my thing last week, but the richest person to have ever lived on the earth is a black man.
Hmm?
He's an African, and he was worth $400 billion with a B dollars.
That's a lot.
That's a black man.
Mm.
So again, when people start talking stuff, which they do repeatedly, they got an agenda. The agenda is to make you think you are less than you are, and you're not smart, and you're dumb, and you have no value, and this and that. And even in the capitalist world, which is dominated by white males, the richest person, period, ever. Because nowadays, if you got 75, 80 billion dollars, you're rich.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had $400 billion. So anyway, we're gonna get the show started now.
Yeah, let's go. There we go.
Had to get that off my chest.
There we go.
Because a lot of people have been telling black folks, you ain't this, you ain't that, and then I saw a special that where they talking about Arabs and white folks and this and that. 4,000 years ago, people, Egypt had black folks in it. They wasn't Arabs, they wasn't white, they wasn't brown, they were black. And all those statues got fat, wide noses and thick lips and cakey hair. Those were selfies. Those were portraits of people who was alive at the time.
Were those the first white races?
They wasn't white. They was all black. Now, let me start Porch Talk Radio. Porch Talk Radio. So for those who want to call in during the show today, the call-in number is 813-251-9867, 813-251-9867. If you want to call me on my cell phone after the show or sometime during the week, you can call Eddie Adams Jr. at 813-312. Email Eddie, E-D-D-I-E, PorchTalkRadio.com. Okay. They had some elections last week.
Blowout.
No, all of them wasn't blowout. Well, before we get to the local races, Ken Welch won, and congratulations, Mr. Ken Welch over in St. Pete. So St. Pete got a black mayor, first time in history. Congratulations, St. Pete. It was a community effort, and at the parties and the event afterwards, it was as many Tampa folks over there as there were St. Pete people. So they let you know it was a collaborative effort, and it's good for the entire black community of Tampa Bay to have a black mayor over in St. Pete, and eventually Tampa will get one at some point in time.
Well, Cassie gets a tan. What do you mean?
No.
They're not allowed to have this. No, Eddie, they're not allowed.
Well, again, the first time in history, so
Right.
so evidently. Okay. Now let me say something else about the elections. They had an election for governor. Two gubernatorial elections. Virginia. Now, okay, people. Now tell me it's just me. I'm running off on a rampage. And I'm seeing stuff that ain't there. Virginia had an election Tuesday. By 12 o'clock that night, everything was counted, election was called, and the governor, had accepted and done his exception speech. Good. He said he in there, and his name is Glenn Youngkin.
That's not a Democrat.
No, he's a Republican. And Virginia is one of those good old-fashioned traditional Democrat states.
Eddie, do you know that 20% of the population is government employees?
Now, the other state, and I'm to the difference between the two. There's another governor elected, but it may not be official yet, because they're still counting the ballots and doing the shenanigans and all this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, people. At some point in time, see, you keep using the same old tricks. Okay, it was a close election in New Jersey. Now, the election in Virginia was a blowout. So, they can't steal
Print up
a blowout election because they can't produce enough ballots and do shenanigans and under the cover and stuff showing up, so they got to have a number.
They're stuck at the Porch right now out of California.
But see, that's what they had said. They got to have a number. So Biden, had 6 states where they got the number. So once they get the number, then they can kind of produce whatever they need in a close race. Okay, the race in New Jersey was close, and so all day Tuesday, you kept hearing close. The Republican guy was ahead, a couple times, and
the print machines went to work, Eddie.
Early in the afternoon, the Republican guy was still ahead. And the night came, and he was still ahead. And then all of a sudden,
boom!
They had the delay.
Magic.
They had the delay.
The Democrat magic.
That delay, and then they knew how many Republican votes was in.
Absolutely.
Because somebody had already counted them. So okay, so we're gonna have a delay. Let's produce X number of votes, and so the next time they had the delay, and then the next day. So this was Tuesday. So it was Thursday. When they had the official number of who won New Jersey.
With the ladies hot off the press ballots.
And it was the incumbent who of course Tuesday night, somehow they couldn't come up with enough ballots to actually win the election
legally.
That's kind of how I see it. They couldn't officially announce. You notice nothing came out of New Jersey Tuesday night. So the next day, all the big. See, I'm gonna tell you what that would have did. That would have said to all the people in the media and politics, the midterms, which is what happened next year, when they have most of the races, that the Democrats were going, y'all gonna have to get, the game you playing is getting old, and the Republicans are taking notes, and they kind of figuring it out, and again, you're gonna have to come up with something new, because that dog and that trick, ain't gonna hunt next time. I'm telling you right now. You're gonna be delaying those ballots, and the Republicans gonna be there with 400 attorneys at every polling place, and you're not gonna be able to do it because again, it's a process, and you keep playing the same old game, and you gotta refine it. You gotta change it some.
Because lying and cheating is the only way they can do it, Eddie.
Well, again, if it's a close race, then it works. It don't work in blowouts. I mean, you just had 2 elections Tuesday night. One was a blowout. 12 o'clock, you knew the results. The other one was a close race. 2 days later, you finally get the results.
And the Democrat
That
was
ain't
America.
gonna happen next year. I'm telling you. You gotta find a quicker way to have your printers print up, those bogus ballots, or collect them, or whatever you gotta do, because in Arizona they still counting from the presidential election. So I'm just saying, nobody believes that Biden is the real president. I'm just saying, and I know a lot of you guys may not.
Eddie, he got more votes than Obama. People liked him more than Obama.
May disagree.
Eddie.
Just say he got 80 million votes. And again, even a lot of staunch yellow dog Democrats don't believe that. So again, that whole delay and count system,
Print up.
and everybody upset because they're trying to say, okay, you're gonna have 24 hours. A lot of these states gonna say 24 hours, and what we got is what we got. See, the problem is it takes a while if it's not close. If it's real close, you only got to print out a couple of ballots. You only got to generate a couple of ballots. That's one suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 6 suitcases.
At 2 in the morning.
Depending on where you're at, and how they got to go through the process. New Jersey. The Republicans won New Jersey. And a lot of folks know it. Now it's official that the incumbent retained his slot, but the statement that's being made all over the country, and you guys, even Democrats, New Jersey ain't never been tight state for Republicans to almost win.
So that's still a strong message.
It's been blue, dark blue for such a long time. And the fact that you almost lost the governor's mansion, and it took you 2 days of generating ballots to win, that's a statement. So again, Biden is pretty much hurting the Democratic Party, because if New Jersey ends up being that close a race, how many other races, and think about this. Virginia been blue for a long time.
Since 2009.
And the fact that was a blowout. The Republican won that race, and the Democrats couldn't figure out a way to generate enough ballots to
Legally.
to they couldn't generate enough ballots after they had the number to make it close.
Because everything's tied up at the Porch of California still.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So that's the election. We had one here locally, and the mayor of St. Pete, Ken Welch, has history. His father was the first black on Pinellas St. Pete City Council. So if you go back in the day, his family has been part of St. Pete politics for a number of years. He has been visibly involved in Pinellas and St. Pete politics. And the Republican, who was the other guy, his name was Blackman.
So, but he was a white guy.
He was a white guy.
Of course.
Was 32 years old, kind of new to politics. And I'm gonna say this out loud. He immediately said that I would love to be a part of Ken Welch's St. Pete. That's a good guy. And he was a Republican, and he wasn't mean, and he wasn't brutal, the way they try to make all Republicans to be.
But I'm sure he was a racist, since he was a Republican.
I'm sure he wasn't. And again, at the end of the day, Tampa Bay, we all want to congratulate Ken Welch.
Absolutely.
Great job. Look forward to your term as mayor of St. Pete, and hopefully some of that rub off on politicos here in Tampa.
You think we can get him a talk with us one day?
Yeah, I try to get him on the show.
Somebody out there listening, talk to him. Tell him to come on.
I kind of knew that he was going to be booked up for the next couple of weeks. Because there's something new and exciting, and all the Democrats wanted to.
Of course, I don't blame them.
Wanted to pat his back.
Absolutely.
Take pictures and do the tour. So again, we understand.
And he's not. You said he's not new to politics.
Yeah. He's not new to politics.
So he knows the game.
And again, our best wishes to him, because I've been on this show speaking that literally that St. Pete would get a black mayor before Tampa would, and now it's happened. So I am the arbiter of good news.
There we go.
Depends on which side you're on. And I know it's a lot of Republicans who just split stuff down the party line. But I have always said that I'm a community first person. What makes the community better, raises the standards and the way of living for black folks is where I'm at.
That's a win-win, Eddie.
The Democrat, Republican, who's gonna do the most for the people, and that's who I am, and that's how I stand.
And remember them promises and do them.
Yeah.
That's big.
Also, I needed to tell you guys while I was talking about this. Gas is up to $3.40. Now, I'm going to tell you, and I've said this before, but I'm just going to remind you guys, I said this a year ago. $5 is in your near future.
It's in California.
It's already there. But I mean, it's in our future here in Florida. Gas is going to be $5 because it's going up at a rate and nothing is being done nationally to stop it. And again, the pipeline and all our enemies selling gas to us and oil to us.
Big time. Big.
And we're no longer independent. We don't control our own future.
No, not at all.
And once we stop controlling our own future, this tends to happen. So, California, right now, there's places in California where gas is $8 a gallon.
And Eddie, Californians were told that if they bought electric cars, that would save the planet and their world. Well, the only problem is they have rolling blackouts because they don't have enough power.
Yep.
And the grid is not designed to power electric cars to charge them up.
Yep.
So here they are. They've spent extra money on electric cars because they're running about $50,000 almost. Anyway, and the average person doesn't have $50,000 thrown out on a car. So and used, they're not any better. So they don't have power to charge their cars up. Gas is $8 an hour, and then with the mandates coming out, what are the people going to do? They're being screwed by their own democratic government that they have in that state with no power to charge their electric cars. They can't afford the gasoline, and the truck drivers trying to drive their trucks, and now they can't afford all that.
Yeah.
And the regulations in the Democratic state is going to be to where trucks have to be newer than 2011, and they have to have a certain gas mileage or MPG type thing. Eddie, and that 37% of the truck drivers are off the job rolls because of the vaccination mandates.
Well, let me say it like
wow.
this. Let me say it like this.
They're screwing themselves.
Watch. See, because this is all good for the country, because I'm kind of like, if it's bad for Joe Biden, it's good for us.
Basically, you're right, Eddie.
Because there's a mandate. There's a mandate, and the way they tied everything bad to Trump, everything bad is gonna be tied to Joe. around his neck.
I think it's a plan, Eddie.
And again, I'm gonna tell you something else. Watch election cycle 2022,
Mm-hmm.
because once that mandate comes down, see, it's gonna be like dominoes. You're gonna have a domino effect, because 2021, 2022, 2024, and everybody's sitting back still trying to blame Trump and associate. I'm gonna tell you why the guy in Virginia lost. You know why the guy in Virginia lost? Because he kept trying to associate Glenn Youngkin with Trump, thinking that they're gonna get the same results and everybody's still mad at Trump, and Youngkin ain't gonna have a chance because this guy kept trying to make him run under Trump coattails. Well, guess what? America, Trump still got coattails. It's gonna be a bunch of Democrats get their butt whooped next cycle trying to associate some Republican with Trump.
And I think Biden has Obama's magic for re-elections, because we know that out of the 10 people that Obama went to go help their re-election, 9 failed.
Yep.
So, and Biden's going to be right there with him, because the guy out of Virginia stuck to the dog whistle talking points that just CRT, that's been politicized into just bastardized crap. Parents have won around the nation against CRT and got themselves on school boards to kick that junk out now. Eddie, it might have been a beautiful thought initially, CRT, but the politicians have just done it so wrong and so bad.
Okay. Just so folks know what Gabriel talking about, critical race theory is not history. See, they take what they did was they bastardized it,
Big time.
misinform you for years and years and years and years. And what you have been getting and what you have always got was critical race theory. See, that's what they keep. Oh, this new thing is critical. No, what you got was critical race. Because they are afraid. And I say they, I mean the people who write the history books.
Yeah.
The folks who have been telling you post-Black American history like it started the day they started shipping black folks from Africa. See, black history started thousands. Matter of fact, the mother.
Don't tell me about the Jesus.
The mother of Homo sapien was an African female.
Okay, Eddie, come on now.
No, I'm telling you, she was an African female. All right, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello.
Eddie Adams.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man? I'm here to tell you. I hate to say it, but I think you right. I see I hate to say this, man.
Come on.
But after this election on Tuesday,
Yep.
Republicans and that all the laws and change in the states about the elections.
They're gonna fix that election
all of
thing.
The people that was attacking, they're going all the way down to the local school board level on this thing. So in 2022, the Demos better get themselves organized. They better get out there and because people turned off and people staying home.
Yeah.
And black folks ain't showing up like they thought they were going to show up in Virginia.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, the Republicans, I see a way, I see a
landslide
to them change. Yes.
Landslide.
I see it coming, man, and it's just November.
Yeah.
And you got a whole year.
Yeah.
Because they going after primaries. They ain't playing around. The Republicans ain't playing around. They going after primaries. They going all the way down to the local level. Because their strategy, if we get to the local level, then it's just going to go up to the top.
Right.
So I'm just saying, because a lot of the stuff they doing is at the local level anyway. So I'm just saying, but Virginia, they've been Democrat like that.
Yeah.
Because this economy messed up. That's one reason they passed that. At least the infrastructure bill, I think, passed last night when I went to sleep. I think they passed that. It was going to the desk of the president, but I don't think the social bill is going to ever pass.
No, it
but
didn't.
The thing is, that the Republicans have changed their mode of operation.
Yeah.
And they are getting a little bit more inclusive because you got some black Republicans winning. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying.
Lieutenant Governor of Virginia is a black female.
Jamaican.
I know they had lieutenant governors and all this stuff. So I'm just saying, man. I try to keep it real, but the demos need to get up and wake up, and black folks need to get busy because they're not, if they ain't got motivated to go out, and I don't think we ever been motivated in the midterm.
Nope.
Something's going to take back over, and when they do that in 2022, look out 2024.
That's what I just said.
I just want to say, man, you're right, man.
Yeah.
You calling it today.
Yeah.
I just want to call in because I keep up with both sides of it, so it really don't matter.
Smart,
but the bottom line is, man,
they got to get
the hit.
Democrats got to get a new trip. They got to get a new trip.
Yeah. All right, that's all I want to say, man.
But thank you for calling. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Joe. All right.
You know, Eddie, real quick, just thinking of Virginia, just calling out what happened. They have their first Hispanic Attorney General in the state of Virginia, which has been Democrat controlled, which has almost 20% of the employment in that state is federal. 20% of the government employees are right there in that one state, and they are sick of all of this. They're sick of it, and they're done with it. And this is a strong message that dog whistles that the Democrat Party has been playing on is no longer working. And the fact that they still don't give a squat about anybody, and they want everybody to get a shot for just submission, the people are done with it. They're done with the fear of the new variant of the new booster shots. They're done with it, Eddie.
Right. Well, let me say something else. Here in the state of Florida, and I said this when it happened, and I'm just reminding people, the reason we have Ron DeSantis,
thank the Lord,
as the governor of the great state of Florida is because of black females went out last election cycle and voted for him.
Eddie, you sure about that?
Yes.
That makes him racist.
I'm just saying, the reason we got Ron DeSantis, the reason he won is because of black females. And I said that before, and if you don't believe it, go look at the results of the election and look at the polling and then look at what happened. And because in the state of Florida, we have been interested in the school system and the education of our kids, and the black women have stood up and made a statement.
That's awesome.
That's why Ron DeSantis got elected. And they may want to say no, that ain't it, because you say it ain't so, don't make it not be so. I'm sorry.
But go look it up.
It don't work like that. It don't work like that. And next election cycle, they keep trying to make Ron DeSantis a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. That's all they got, Eddie. That's
but
all
at
they
the
got.
end of the day, folks who can feed their family, folks got an extra $1 in their pocket because they still working, folks who didn't have to close down their business because of a whole lot of bull crap.
So they could still feed their families.
Government, orders and mandates coming down the pipeline. And he's still fighting those. But at the end of the day, Florida as a state never closed down. And just for you people, you folks who are honest, law-abiding citizens who only want to do what you think is right, Florida has the lowest number of COVID cases in the nation right now.
Eddie.
Right now.
Right. Working off what you just said, just because you said so, Gene Psaki, who's the spokesperson for the Democrat White House, said that whatever the federal government makes up as laws, whatever Biden pulls out of his butt, it becomes official and it overrides the states.
Nope.
Well, Jean, she doesn't know her history too well.
Don't work like that.
Yeah, because the states actually have, is Amendment 10, I think, but there's a provision in there that says, no, they don't have to go with that. In fact, I thought the government's responsibility, the federal government, was to protect, with the military, and provide some basic services, why are they now so interested on a virus that has a 99% overall survival rate and making everybody take a shot, Eddie? Why are they out in the ditch? I don't get it.
I'm going to tell you what they always said, and it's always been true in the United States. Follow the dollar.
Oh, the big pharma.
See who's making money.
You mean?
And right now, I'm just, this stuff I'm saying is common sense.
Mm-hmm.
You see it, you hear it, you choose to ignore it. Okay, they had the big COVID-19 explosion. Everybody on the planet was in danger of dying from COVID. Then they had the 3 companies that came out with the vaccines. Now they got countries who have never mandated vaccines for any of their citizens. And I don't know whether or not you noticed a month or so ago when they were doing all the evacuations from Afghanistan, and they had thousands of people on the runway being videoed. I think I saw 0 masks on folks. That included the American military, the folks guarding folks, the people with guns, the people without guns. And I saw a picture of one of those airplanes where they were saying it had 600 people on the airplane.
How many masks?
0. I saw no. I'm not talking about what somebody told me. They showed the freaking video.
So Eddie, right now we're being told that the mask help us and prevent us from dying, but yet we know that the new Delta variants have all been people that have had the shot that has become super spreaders. But Eddie, the mask itself, if it escaped from a lab 4, they said, or 4 level lab, that means a virus must be awfully small. So folks, if you think about the mask, think of this. If underwear can't stop a fart, but yet a mask can stop a level 4 virus that just fits on your face with a design of daisies, how stupid are we?
This is the other thing too. A lot of places on the planet, other than the United States of America, never felt. They got places in Africa. Let me pull this out. Let me pull this up. They got places in Africa who never knew they even had a virus that was killing everybody, because they're remote and they got villages and they out in the middle of nowhere.
Are they still alive?
Nowhere, and they got folks who never knew that we had a world pandemic. I'm just saying. Now, again, the other part of this is follow the dollar. Okay, they got a new player in the vaccine game who say they're gonna have a new pill
Pfizer.
before the end of the year.
Which one of the companies?
No, I'm not that pill. I'm talking. There's another vaccine.
How many
maker.
pills we got?
They got one pill that's supposed to be coming out, but they got a new vaccine that's supposed to be approved by the end of the year. It's a shot like the rest of them. But think about this. How many times over the last 50 or 60 years, now you got to think about it, diphtheria. Everybody used to get diphtheria and smallpox and mumps and measles and stuff like that.
The arm shot with the circle.
But how many times over the last 20, 30 years have something been cured?
Never.
See, because if you cure something, you can't make no more money off it. You can only make the money from the vaccine,
Eddie,
then the actual hospitalization and the bills and the doctor and the medications and the care and all that stuff goes away. Follow the dollar.
Yeah.
Right now, they can tell you that, again, when they first came out with this, your kids were immune. That's what they said. It wasn't affecting children. Now they just came out a week or two ago with a vaccine from 5 years old to 11.
And in that, Eddie, they have now, I believe it was Pfizer that actually put a heart stabilizing drug into that, so it'll help the children. I don't understand. I thought this was a flu variant. Why would they need a heart stabilizing ingredient included in a vaccine for children, Eddie?
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
I don't get it. I'm missing something.
They're not,
Hello?
They're not curing anything.
Oh.
What they're trying to do,
Create new customers.
create a bigger audience. But
Wow.
then, because the Delta variant, even if you had the other 2 shots, now the Delta variant coming along, and now you got to get a booster. 1. Then I heard by January or February of next year, they'll have booster
With
2.
booster.
So that means if I'm going with this game plan,
Uh-huh.
I got 4 shots that I've already taken by say by March of next year, I would have had to have 4 shots.
To be fully vaccinated,
Yeah.
because that changes. If you don't have the latest one, then
Yeah.
you're not fully
Yeah.
vaccinated.
Right.
But also the big pharma rep, Fauci, who actually gets royalties on all these things.
Oh, yeah.
They've got patents on this stuff because they're all making money. We understand that if you're not with the most current and the most recent, that's why they had to change.
None of the other stuff works.
Yeah.
So
That-
you got to get them in order. Get 1, 2, 3, and then 4.
And they're going to keep going until you're dead.
Right.
So you just hang in there, and they'll get you soon. So just keep
Yeah.
hanging in there.
And this is something else. People, and most of my audience is black, so I'm talking to black folk.
Which is the largest unvaccinated
Yeah.
group in America. 80%.
Stick with it.
Woo!
I'm just saying.
A little Tuskegee. What's wrong with this?
Stick with it, because the fact of the matter, like I just said 10 minutes ago, Florida got the least amount of COVID in the country.
So whatever we do is working.
And if you haven't had the shot yet, I'm gonna tell you.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna tell you. I went to my doctor.
Be careful now.
I went to my doctor last week. I had a doctor's appointment, and he said, "Eddie Adams, you're in good shape." Only thing I got to do the little cola thing with Cologuard. So I got to do the Cologuard, and they're gonna send me a kit, and we'll do that, and they'll test for that. And then he said, he said to me, "Have you had the vaccine?" I am telling you, this is Eddie Adams Jr. speaking. And I said, no. And I said, I don't believe in it. And I said, one thing, I'm going to say, this is the difference between me and you. I am a microbiologist. I actually studied for 4 years how these things work. And I said that to the doctor. And the doctor said, well, you should get the vaccine. And I said, doctor, listen very close. Right now, I don't have the COVID virus in my body.
Mm-hmm.
And I got tested that day. I say, right now, I don't. If I get the vaccine, that day I would have the COVID virus in my body. They have already said they don't know what the hell they're doing with the COVID virus, and people are dying. Even the vaccinated people are dying.
They haven't isolated, Eddie.
So why would I,
Uh-oh.
knowing I have no COVID virus in my body, would go out and have somebody put COVID virus in my body, and in 5 years or 10 years, because they don't know how long this current status is going to be what it is.
What's the experiment, Eddie?
It changes, and now all of a sudden, I got a disease that they stuck in my body and called it part of the COVID vaccination.
And drinking lots of water is not going to flush it.
Because you got lots of stuff. When I got vaccinated for polio and diphtheria and all that stuff before, there's a lot of people showed up 20 years later with diseases that they got from the vaccine. Yeah. So again, I'm telling you now, there's a lot of black folks done learned over the years not to trust the government.
Come on, Eddie. A little syphilis, little cancers, Tuskegee, whatever.
I'm just saying. So, I know there's other show hosts who have pretty much on the air saying, yeah, get it.
And they've survived it, and that's awesome.
And that's good. I, for myself, currently know I have no COVID virus in my body.
Well, Eddie, on the other side of the coin, I caught it in December. My lovely wife and I shared it for a little bit, and then finally we got rid of it. And it was like a bad flu.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a bad flu. The shakes went through about a week. About a week, it was rough with the shakes and fever. That went to the bathroom a few times, and that was good. Cleared up after that, no problem. And as of then, we've not had it again. We're very active in the community usually, but yeah, we've had majority of the families already had their COVID shots.
Okay.
And they've caught it a time or two since they've had the COVID shots.
See, and that's the part of it. You may see so now you got it. It's been in your body. It's never been in my body, and I'm like this. If I ain't got it, I don't want to get it by having somebody stick it in my arm and jab it. That's what they call the jab.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been jabbed, and then I show up 2 weeks later, and next thing I know, I'm using one of my 5 grave slots.
Oh.
Yeah, I got some slots.
Now we're not trying to scare you guys.
I got some cemetery plots. But again, at the end of the day, if I get it, if I catch it in my day-to-day living,
you'll get through it because you're in good health.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. The survival rate is extremely high.
I made it.
96%.
I like my whiskey.
Now.
Oh, Tim had it too.
Oh,
I didn't know
Tim. See, and Tim. So everybody in this room has had it, but me.
Exactly.
Okay, but you got to take in consideration. Do I want to voluntarily put myself in that position? And it's enough black folks, as a mass of people,
majority
have decided, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of and then they come back later and say, well, you should have got vaccinated, you should have this, you should have that. And that should have thing works with everything, no matter what it was. You should have did it. Well, I'm like this. If I die, if I get it, I believe in God.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you can't take the Jesus side here, Eddie.
Yes,
you're going to get religious suddenly on me and tell me that if God is God, He can take care of me one way or the other?
Yeah,
oh, my goodness, you're pulling out all the stops today.
It just
my goodness.
Because I can't tell people to get jabbed or not get jabbed. I can only tell you how I, Eddie Adams Jr., have perceived this thing. And they say, well, you got to show you're responsible. Yes, I am responsible. And I'm using that responsibility to tell you or inform you my personal feelings about it. The government's been telling you for months to take it. So me saying don't take it ain't going to make you not take it. If it's been in your heart to not take it, in a person, I'm afraid of it. Like I say, I don't have it. I know I don't have COVID. And I've been tested and retested, and I still don't have it.
But Eddie, the cycle continues of Democrats pushing for something, and they want the minorities up the front getting the shots.
Right.
And it's always been the liberal Democrats that have always pushed the minorities into getting these things done, experimental drugs. And right now, Eddie, the fact the black population in America is 80% saying no, we're not getting it right now. It's got the liberal Democrats really upset. Eddie, they've always done, the liberal Democrats have always done the worst they can to the black people and the Hispanics, the minorities in general, in our country, and nothing has changed, and the media has brainwashed blacks and Hispanics to keep voting for Democrats. They're oppressors.
Yeah.
And they still continue it. It's like that scorpion and the turtle thing, when the scorpion wants to ride across the pond, and the turtle says, no, if I give you a ride, you're going to sting me. No, we'll both drown. And they're halfway in the middle of the pond, and suddenly the scorpion does what scorpions do. Stung the turtle. The turtle said, why'd you do that? And the scorpion said, It's my nature. The nature of the Hispanics and blacks has been programmed by these Democrats to continue to be the experimental things, Eddie.
Yep.
It's terrible.
On this day,
Go on.
on this day, November the 6th, in 1851, Charles Henry Dow was born. See, this is stuff I know most of you people never get. That's
Dow?
Why Dow. He was the founder of Dow Jones and Company,
That's a rich person. Was a rich person.
the stock exchange guy.
Back in the day.
On this day, November the 6th, 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected to be the 16th president of the United States of America.
That was a sad story on how he got there, Eddie, but that boy wouldn't hold down.
Yep.
He fought and won finally.
On this day, November the 6th, 1861, Jefferson Davis was elected as president of the Confederacy of the United States of America. So this is that first week in November. So it's been that way for a long time. So a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff, and a lot of bad stuff happened. On this day, November 6th, 1861, the inventor of basketball, another popular black sport.
There's a white guy, right?
Yes, he was a white guy. James Naismith was born. And last but not least,
Well, they didn't have basketball nets back then, Eddie.
no, they played with a peach basket. That's how I started out.
Okay.
And on this day, November the 11th, 1894, William C. Hooker received a patent for the first mouse trap. I knew you couldn't get through your day without knowing.
Oh my goodness! What year?
Who invented the mouse trap? 1894.
So before that, they just ran wild, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't have a mouse trap.
Had to shoot them.
Gabriel.
All right, guys. Man, there's so much. The Virginia loss was huge simply because Americans are sick of the bull. The first black woman lieutenant governor, she's an immigrant, Jamaican. Why aren't the liberal Democrats talking about finally a black female makes it? Why aren't they talking about that? Why aren't they talking about the first Hispanic guys, attorney general out there? Why aren't... See, again, folks, if you don't follow their game, you don't count, you don't exist, you're not human. Meanwhile, Mr. Kaepernick, after making $43 million during his career, the NFL is suddenly slavery. Gee, I don't mind that kind of slavery. Let me see, how did he get there? Oh, that's right. His step number one, be raised by a white family that adopted him. Number two, get into the NFL. Number three, make lots and lots of money. Number four, make everything about how you're oppressed with his white family and his multi-millions. Compare the NFL to slavery and blame everything on racism. Is this guy stupid? He's not helping the black people or any other race. This guy is just stupid. Moving along, on a lighter note, you know, my wife sent me a text the other day, and it said, "You're, Y-O-U-R, great." So naturally, I text back, "No, you are great." She's been walking around all happy and smiling. Should I tell her that I was actually correcting her grammar, or leave it? All right.
Leave it.
Yeah, walk away, walk away. Now here's a good one. Eddie pulled out the religious one earlier. Without God, what am I but a guide to my own destruction?
There you go.
Woo. And meanwhile, they've got 56 voting machines that went down, and the votes still hadn't been counted in New Jersey. Imagine that. And then Dr. Fauci says it's perfectly normal to experience occasional incontinence. The poopaloozer for Mr. Biden said that pooping in your pants is okay occasionally. That's just normal and natural. He's covering for Mr. Biden that pooped in his pants while he's talking to the Pope. That's a lot of bees. Let's see, keep on moving along here. My God, Winsome Sears.
And everybody heard about it. The president pooped himself.
Yeah, the meeting went too long and he lost it. And anyway, moving along. Winsome Sears. Winsome Sears is the name of the black lieutenant governor, Jamaican lady that actually served in our military, that is working there in the state of Virginia as a lieutenant governor, which is awesome. Now, this is a typical argument about guns, and the Democrats always pull this one. You don't need 30 rounds to hunt. That's correct. But the Second Amendment was not written in case the deer turn against us. Hello? Somebody out there, talk to me. What happens in Virginia will in large part determine what happens in 2022 and 2024 and on, said Kamala Harris. Finally, she appeared out of her cave, and I agree with that. We even took control of the Virginia House in the state upset. The actual House, so whatever the governor says he wants to do, he's got the House to back it. That is strong, folks. And then let's see here, and people always complain about my posts sometimes, like my posts are dangerous. I'm like, oh, like dangerous enough to give you blood clots? Really? Meanwhile, in San Antonio, a 72% Democrat stronghold, San Antonio, Texas, is flipped to a Republican, John Lujan. Democrats are so sick of Democrats, Eddie. They're done with it. And they're done with this dog whistle of, oh, it's racism. Oh, it's, no, they're done with it, Eddie. They're 72% Democrat votes for a Republican. Ooh, that's big news.
All right. And last, and I'm going to leave you with this thought.
Come on.
In the excavation of a 4,000-year-old tomb in Egypt,
BC.
Yeah, years before Christ, they found Afro picks.
No.
Not a Afro pick, a whole bunch of Afro picks, and they were 4,000 years old, and only one race of people on this planet has ever used Afro picks. Now, let me go ahead and add this little caveat. During that period of time, Egyptians were black. Since that time,
They've gotten whitified.
they haven't had any picks discovered in all of the digs in Egypt since the African black folks left the region.
Eddie, the aliens must have dropped off those pics.
So I'm just saying, for all those folks who keep trying to say the ancient Egyptians were everything but black, we keep coming up with stuff. And as a caveat, as I'm leaving the show today, the Middle American cultures, those statues I was telling you about, were African descendants, and their nose was so wide it go halfway across their face. So
a lot of them are missing their nose now, Eddie.
Well, that's places where white folks have tried to destroy the concept that these folks were black. But Mesoamerican, many of the Mesoamerican cultures, including the Aztecs and the Mayans, their deities and their native habits, many of them are Afrocentric, coming from the continent of Africa.
And that's still not being taught here.
So until next week,
stay safe.
As we do this again, same bat time, same bat station, Tampa Bay. Us folks here at Porch Talk Radio, we love you.
God bless America.
Bye-bye.